and my night has just begun. Okay.
That was good.
Nah, I appreciate that. We got a take for 99 later on to close this show. So I got another follow-up take, so I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, we might as well get into the sport of boxing. Man, I was looking forward to this topic out of all the topics, to be honest with you, because man, it was crazy. It went down over the weekend. Was Francis Ngannou robbed against Tyson Fury? Okay. And I would love to do it an honest here to kick us off. Listen, I've been feeling to get here. Now I don't want to throw the word rob so loosely. I feel like I use that a lot. Too much to my liking. I won't be surprised anybody watching this show that's a listener come up to me and be like, Lil, do you think the earth is flat? Because of all the conspiracy, robbery. He got robbed. Referees, rob. I should change my name to Rob. Okay, literally, maybe. But look, I will say this, okay? Me using what I know about the sport of boxing, I already had a predetermined mindset that Francis was not getting a decision, no matter how good he looked. So we could take that and run with that and figure out if I think it was a robbery or not, because he wasn't getting no decision, regardless. With all due respect, okay? First of all, let's use common sense. Do you think Francis Ngannou, a guy who's never fought in the sport of boxing before, is going to come in Saudi Arabia and win a fight, get a fight from the judges, when there's money on the line for the undisputed against Alexander Usyk in Saudi Arabia? Does that make any sense? No, it's not going to happen at all. So I knew he had no shot. And realistically, I had him winning the fight 95-94. Now, this may be a hot take, but hear me out. I do think that Francis Ngannou was the perfect matchup for Tyson Fury in hindsight. Obviously, I didn't think that going in because the guy had no boxing experience. My guy's a UFC fighter. We know that crossovers don't end well for UFC fighters. They get outclassed because a guy is more at his home turf. In the sport of boxing, Mayweather, Conor McGregor, Jake Paul, Anderson Silva, it happens too many times for me to believe that this fight was going to be good. I was wrong. The reason why Francis Ngannou is a tough opponent for Fury, and he showed that Saturday, was because of the strength, especially on the inside. He has the strength. You see, Fury's go-to is leaning, grabbing, putting his weight on you. Well, guess what? Francis Ngannou is a UFC fighter. He's known for that. Like, yeah, he improved with his wrestling over the years. He's more of a striker, but he improved. He definitely improved with his takedown defense. He used that. He played into Ngannou's hands, especially when you talk about how he likes to grapple, how he likes to lean, wear you down, especially your legs. That's what he did to Wilder. He wasn't able to do that with Ngannou. So when they was in the clinch and Fury was holding, okay, they exchanged uppercuts. And, Ngannou was able to get Fury off of him. And Fury had no answer. Every time Fury is in trouble, he goes to holding and using cheap shots. First of all, he should have got a point deducted for a forearm. Okay, that should have been the difference in the fight when you think about it. So yeah, we could go back to that robbery question if we want to. But the thing about Wilder and why Wilder couldn't beat Fury was because of his legs. Okay, my guy put on all this muscle mass in the third fight and forgot cardio. Okay, if he remembered cardio, he probably would have won that fight. All right, Fury reared him down, and his legs was weakened, and he couldn't stay on his feet. And he was fighting off of pure heart and determination until he got knocked out.
Right.
Francis Ngannou was strong, and on the inside, he was able to go tit for tat with Fury, and Fury had no answer for that. Luckily for Fury, okay, there's money behind this, and he was able to get a decision that he probably didn't deserve. And that's my first lap.
Yeah. Listen, man. Robbed? To answer the question, I think he did get robbed. I'm going to be real with you. I actually think he did. But expectations, right? My expectations going into this fight was low for him. I didn't think Francis had a shot. I didn't think he was going to come close to having a shot, right? And definitely going into the late rounds, definitely thought he would the endurance, or he wouldn't have the legs or the stamina to keep up, and eventually would get knocked out. But here's what I learned. This dude Francis could take a punch. And I tell people this about boxing all the time. Talent is also taking a punch, right? That's a talent, right? Because if you got that talent where you can take a punch and can keep your composure and deliver another blow, another strong blow, then you're a talented fighter in the sport of boxing. That's really what it's all about. So he showed me he can do that because he took punches and still was able to deliver a strong blow. And no disrespect to Francis, even when he knocked down Tyson Fury, it wasn't even a legitimate striking boxing blow. It wasn't body weight behind it. His legs wasn't even in the right format. And he still knocked him out. Or rather, knocked him down. Let's go there. He didn't knock him out. He knocked him down. He still knocked him down. So I was overly impressed. And I just thought he won the fight, man. I thought, like you said, Tyson Fury resulted into leaning, grabbing, and he likes to put his body weight because he's a little taller than you and kind of like wear you out. He went to that, and you can see he was scared. You can see that he was nervous. Yeah, you can see that he was under pressure, and it changed the whole dynamics of the fight from a mental perspective. And mentally, Tyson Fury was not fighting the same fight no more. He was a little tentative. You saw it. Like, he was a little hesitant to go in there, try to use the jab a little bit more. But every time he get in there, he grabbed him and try to lean on him and try to use his tactics. But, yo, give this dude Francis a lot of credit. I don't know how old Francis is. Cousin, what is he, like 35, 36, Francis, this guy?
Something like that. Zay, how old is he, by the way?
I don't really know.
Top of the head.
Francis, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he's young 30s. I'll find out right now.
I think 35. Let's say 35.
Yeah.
If this dude was 30 years old and he had a couple of more years to like fully train in boxing, this will be the heavyweight champion of the world. And that's the Freddie take on that right there. He just needed, if he was just a little younger, I think this dude would be eventually the heavyweight champion of the world.
You know, just real quick, Francis Ngannou is 37 years old. So
37. See, 37 years old.
Close. You know, I don't know if like I said, I think, like repeating, you know, Lil's words, I don't know if robbery is the correct word, but I think he shocked the world on how close the fight was going to be against Tyson Fury.
He shocked us.
His strength is something that was unprecedented. I know we all know how strong he is. We didn't think he'll be as strong as he's shown in his boxing technique, fighting against Tyson Fury and putting Tyson Fury in a very, very interesting position. Not only in the ring but also outside the ring, because Tyson Fury was talking a big game, as Tyson Fury normally does, talking a huge game, and the fight was super close. It wasn't Tyson Fury was jabbing him all fight. He was showing he was outclassing him. He was putting him in school. Like, it wasn't that. Tyson Fury was running for his life. It's actually very similar to when Keith Thurman came back to fight a tune-up fight, and he was getting his butt whipped before the pack.
Jose Penjaza, Penjaza, something like that. It was Jose something. I think it was Penjaza.
Keith Thurman's behind on the return, and that's exactly what Tyson Fury looked like. And it's gonna be interesting when Usyk and Fury fight, because apparently, according to Fury, his video, according to Usyk, the fight is scheduled for December 23rd. It's contract. It's on paper. It's written. And apparently, if the fight don't go down, then a lot of legal implications was said, and that will happen. We'll find out. But according to this fight, you know, I think Francis Ngannou did a great job fighting Tyson Fury. He knocked him down. I feel like he kept the fight close, and he was pushing the tempo. Like, if the fight was in his speed, he was pushing the tempo in this fight. And I feel like people that said Francis Ngannou won, you know, you have a great argument. He should have won the fight, but you know, as we've seen time and time again, you don't allow the fight to go to the judges. It's unfortunate. Boxing, until they fix their point system, it's very rigged, and it's gonna be like that for the next 100 years until they figure out how to make boxing more implemented to modern day. It's very different. Each judge has a different way they rate the fight and how they score guys, how they score the fight, and it's not fair. It's not fair to a lot of different guys, especially when you knock down Tyson Fury. I feel like your points should have been edged more towards Ngannou, especially after that knockdown, because a lot of times judges, they have the fight even, and then when somebody gets knocked down, they give earlier rounds to the guy who knocked the other guy down. This is how they work, and I don't know why judges do this, but that's why they always say, even in UFC, you will never allow the fight to go to the judges. You have an opportunity to handle the result in the ring. You have to do so.
Right.
Yeah, I would just say this too. When you talk about how composed Francis Ngannou was from the rip, I was really impressed. I was literally watching the fight, shocked.
Yeah, me too.
Especially
I
like how
that they use shocked.
How composed he was. Like, even when he scored the knockdown, most fighters, they get wild trying to go for the kill shot. and they end up getting hit. He was very composed. Fury, he normally throws his signature uppercut. That's how he knocked out Dillian White, with an uppercut. And he threw that uppercut so many times in this fight. And Francis took it on the chin. Once again, according to Cuzzle, he was right. His chin was very impressive, being able to take Fury's shot. It's just very ironic how Fury could knock out the hardest puncher in the heavyweight division in Deontay Wilder, and he doesn't knock out anybody else after that. I just find that suspect a little bit, for what it's worth. Literally, he wasn't knocking out people before Deontay Wilder. I just find that a little suspect. Maybe he just, maybe he just kind of like, knock him out. Maybe it was, the tactics that he used. Because truth be told, and I know I may get flack, I don't care. I tell the truth. It's in my name. Fury is a dirty fighter, and anybody watching Fury's fights should know that. In the Wilder fight, punching him behind the head, the forearm in this fight, if anybody was gonna cheat, it would have been Ngannou, I would have thought, because he don't know the sport like that. It would have been an accidental cheating, and he was the one, Fury, that threw the forearm. Was not expecting that. And that's why this is a bad look for boxing. Boxing lost. UFC won.
Right.
UFC won.
I'm going to be honest with that forearm, cousin. That forearm was a major factor in the fight. It really was. It was a legitimate elbow forearm to the head. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? As he was rushing in, he threw him and he caught him in the head. So clearly that was a shot that should have been noted and a point taken away, no question. Tyson Fury's a dirty fight, ain't no question about it. But let me tell you,
look at the Steve Cunningham fight. In the second round, Fury got knocked down by overhand right. Mm-hmm. And Fury got up after that knockdown, and he was holding. He got a point deducted for holding too much. He was, illegal shots. The same referee that ref that fight came after the fight and said, that's the dirtiest fight I've ever seen.
Wow. Let me tell you, though, this dude Francis, though, if Devontae Wilder want to take something from Francis, he got to go work on his core. Because that dude's core, right? Not to build up muscles up top, but his core was legit. And that's why he
cardio, man.
Tyson Fury back a lot from that core.
Can't forget about the cardio. Now, I think MMA won. I think boxing lost, in this fight, because now more MMA fighters are going to be in tune to cross over to the sport of boxing, thinking they have a shot to win. But it's really about the heavyweight division. The heavyweight division is like March Madness. You don't know what's going to happen because all these fighters carry a punch that can end your night. Okay, and that's why we saw with Usyk, who Fury is going to fight whenever that date is, right? Could be 23rd, could be, another date. Usyk should have lost. He got hit with a body shot from Du Bois, and that should have ended the fight. He got 5 minutes to recover because the ref saw it as a low blow, was a mental error, allowed him to recover 5 minutes and win the fight. Should have lost that fight. It's a heavyweight division. Guys pack a punch, and that's why it's a very exciting division. And this is an outlier. Don't think MMA fighters gonna come over and cross over and win like Francis Ngannou should have won. No, it's a outlier because it's the heavyweight division. He is a striker. Clearly, he was one of the best strikers in the UFC for a reason. It translated to boxing, and his weight translated to boxing. He was able to give Fury stylistic issues, and that's what happened. It was a stylistic issue that Fury underestimated prior to this fight because he thought he was going to have the advantage of being the boxer and him being the UFC fighter. But boxing don't win. The undisputed, date is probably going to be moved. I believe it's moved. I believe that's what I heard is moving. It's not going to be on the 23rd because Fury got a cut. Like, it doesn't help boxing at all. What happened, it only helps Francis Ngannou, who took home $10 million. Okay, congratulations to him. I love to see it. And also, MMA, it helps them out. It doesn't help the sport of boxing. Boxing should be ashamed right now. And once again, the referees, the one judge that had it 97, 93 for Tyson Fury, need to be in witness protection. It was terrible. So yeah, that's my take.
Real quick, and I think I want to go back to when you said MMA won. I think the biggest loser right now is not MMA, not UFC, not boxers, but Dana White, because Dana White was a guy who didn't want to pay Francis Ngannou the top money to continue fighting in UFC because but the sport of UFC, they don't want it to be deemed as just a striker's paradise. Not everyone just be punching all day. They don't want that. And UFC, they have wrestlers in there. They have a bunch of different styles of fighting outside of just the strikers. And I think Dana White, after seeing Francis Ngannou be as confident and as poised and actually putting up a fight against the world heavyweight champion of the world in boxing, it opens up the door for other strikers of UFC to try to migrate into boxing and try to make a double bag or try to just primarily go for just the boxing universe because of that kind of tenacity. I believe, in my opinion, I don't know the average cost, but I think that average pay, but I think boxers get paid way more than UFC fighters. So now it opens up the door. Rather A, you pay more people in UFC, or B, you have the doors open for guys just to go into the boxing world to make more money.
That's a good point. My last point, when you talk about this upcoming fight, Undisputed, with Alexander Usyk and Fury, it's a very compelling fight. Obviously, we're not going to get into that right now, but I do want to just have one big, how can I say, takeaway or question, because I think Usyk could box and outbox Fury. A lot of people is going to take this loss, and they shouldn't, and say, oh, Alexander Usyk going to handle that. This fight has nothing to do with Alexander Usyk.
I agree.
Nothing. So don't even take it. Even though I already picked Alexander Usyk to win, I think he will win. Mm-hmm. But don't take this fight as an example. It's two different fighters, because what Fury is going to do, arguably, maybe successfully, that he couldn't do against Francis Ngannou, is apply that pressure, lean, grapple. Alexander Usyk is a smaller fighter. He's really and truly a cruiserweight in a heavyweight's body, really. And he's going to be able to have success like that. Now, I do think Usyk is going to be able to outbox Fury and win on points, but that's something that Alexander Usyk is going to have to worry about that Francis didn't have to worry about. So don't take that fight as a prime example of you switching to Usyk.
Please like and subscribe for all the up-to-date content. You've been slinging shows left and right, slinging content left and right. Please don't miss anything. If you do, like, subscribe, leave a comment, or leave a question, something you may want to answer, something you may have. All ideas are great ideas. Nothing's a dumb question.